Let's start with our first news. Khalil Rountree Jr. has issued a warning to Sean Strickland ahead of his upcoming fight, as attention also builds around Khamzat's return and the training environment at the Jackson facility in California. We continue to receive impressive and at times scary reports coming out of the camp. Khalil Rountree Jr. is one of the fighters training at the gym, and he recently shared his thoughts about Khamzat, saying he is really excited for Khamzat to return, defend his belt, and show the world that everything people say about him will soon be proven right. He made it clear he is looking forward to that moment. Stories about Khamzat's intense training sessions have been circulating for quite some time. Now another eye-opening account has been added to the list. DeGidio from the Jackson podcast recently described a unique environment where fighters come together with one shared mindset. Iron sharpens iron. He explained that fighters like Luke, Khalil, Khamzat, and Arman constantly push each other in every training camp, giving and receiving elite-level work. He even described a day where Khamzat pushed everyone into 25-minute rounds, followed by wrestling drills later in the evening, after already completing a full workout and pad session earlier in the day. This reflects a system of extreme two-a-day sessions, followed by structured recovery, nutrition, and preparation routines. Weight management, conditioning work, technical drilling, and MMA sparring are all being covered in detail. The result is a complete camp environment, widely described as one of the most intense training setups in the sport, where every fighter is pushed beyond normal limits to sharpen their skills for upcoming battles. Khalil's warning to Sean Strickland has added extra tension ahead of the matchup, especially with the rising intensity inside the camp. Observers believe that training alongside Khamzat at such a high pace forces every fighter to elevate their game or fall behind. Insiders claim that the energy inside the gym is unlike anything seen before, with constant pressure, non-stop competition, and a mindset focused purely on domination inside the octagon. As fight night approaches, all eyes are on how this preparation translates into performance, with many expecting explosive performances from everyone involved in this elite training system. The narrative continues to build momentum as fans eagerly anticipate what happens next in this evolving UFC storyline at the highest level possible. Move on to another news. Jon Jones believes he is a good guy, despite a long history of controversy and multiple run-ins with the law over the years. Jon Jones has often been criticized by fans and media, but he continues to maintain that his true character is misunderstood. Recently, journalist and former model Shay Filling interviewed Jon Jones, where she openly admitted she was surprised by how friendly and nice he was in person. She told him she expected a completely different personality based on what she had seen in the media. Jon responded by acknowledging the public perception around him, asking if she expected him to be a scary guy. She explained that the media creates a certain image, and when you finally meet him, he feels completely different from that reputation. Jon Jones thanked her and admitted that while he can be a wild personality and is well known, his mistakes often become very public. He stated that he believes he is far more of a good person than anything negative associated with him. He added that everyone has different sides, and he simply sees himself as a pretty good person overall. Meanwhile, attention around Jon Jones' circle continues to grow, especially with rising heavyweight talent Gable Stevenson, who is widely considered one of the top prospects in MMA today, if not the top prospect. During the UFC 327 broadcast, it was revealed that the UFC has officially signed the undefeated heavyweight. Following the announcement, Dana White addressed the signing during the post-fight press conference, stating that every fighter experiences UFC jitters when entering the promotion for the first time. He added that there are no easy fights in the UFC, and Stevenson will be tested immediately once he steps inside the octagon. Gable Stevenson has already shown confidence in his future, releasing a message where he called his debut the biggest debut on earth. He admitted to feeling butterflies and jitters, but emphasized that it is all part of the process and that he is ready to take the step into the UFC and perform at the highest level. He also hinted that International Fight Week could feature something huge, possibly a major headline return. This sparked speculation among fans about a potential comeback of Conor, although nothing has been officially confirmed at this time. The buzz surrounding Stevenson's debut continues to grow, with discussions about whether the UFC will match him against a well-established heavyweight right away or take a more gradual approach. UFC 327 has also drawn attention for reporting one of the lowest gate numbers in recent history, following the event held in Miami, adding further conversation around the promotion's current momentum and upcoming direction. Move on to another news. Mateusz Gamrot has officially called out Arman following another impressive performance inside the octagon. Gamrot showcased his elite grappling once again on Saturday, securing a submission victory over Esteban Riovics at 4:19 of round 2 in their lightweight clash. Speaking at the post-fight press conference, Gamrot made it clear that he wants a big-name opponent next. He mentioned several potential names, including Diego Lopez, Paddy Pimblett, and Arman, stating that any of them would be acceptable for his next fight. For context, Gamrot is the only fighter aside from Islam Makhachev to have defeated Arman inside the UFC, which adds even more intensity to a potential rematch discussion at lightweight. Gamrot said that right now he deserves fighters from the top of the division. He explained that he is ready for anyone, whether it is BSD, Paddy, or Arman again, saying it does not matter who stands across from him. He added that his main goal is to prove he is the best in the world. Gamrot emphasized that he only needs a full training camp and then he is ready to go all out, fully prepared to perform at the highest level in the division. Gamrot also expanded on his call-out of Diego Lopez, explaining why he believes that matchup would be a fun and highly entertaining fight for fans. He noted that Lopez may already have a booked fight at the White House against a Mexican opponent, but he has heard that Lopez might move up to the lightweight division. He added that if Lopez decides to move up because he does not get a title shot, he is ready to wait patiently. Gamrot stated he is in no rush and could potentially face him later in the year if needed. He described Lopez as a complete fighter who is dangerous everywhere, showing clear respect for his skills and style. Gamrot admitted he enjoys watching his fights and considers him a strong, well-rounded opponent. However, he made it clear that if Lopez enters the lightweight division, he will be waiting at the top, ready as a strong and hungry grappler, looking to prove himself against anyone stepping up. Move on to another news. Ilya and Khamzat have just released new footage from the gym, and the UFC world is reacting fast. Two of the biggest superstars in the sport have dropped fresh pad work clips, and both are already going viral across social media for their intensity and sharpness. Khamzat, one of the most dominant forces in the UFC, looks completely locked in as he continues his preparation. The reigning middleweight champion is sharpening his brutal pressure game ahead of a massive title defense against Sean Strickland at UFC 328. In the footage, he appears aggressive, focused, and physically dialed in, showing no signs of slowing down as he approaches another high-stakes fight. Meanwhile, Ilya is also putting in serious work, looking just as dangerous in his own training clips. He is preparing for a huge unification title fight against Justin Gaethje on the highly anticipated White House card. The stakes could not be higher, and Ilya's training footage reflects the pressure and importance of the moment. Both fighters are seen pushing their pace in pad sessions, showing elite timing, speed, and explosive combinations. Khamzat continues to display his trademark forward pressure, closing distance with relentless intensity, while Ilya showcases crisp striking and sharp movement, highlighting why he is considered one of the most dangerous rising champions in the sport. Fans have been quick to react, with many pointing out how focused and sharp both fighters look heading into their biggest challenges yet. Khamzat's evolution as a champion continues to draw attention, especially as he prepares to defend his belt against a proven veteran like Sean Strickland, who is known for his durability and awkward style. On the other side, Ilya's preparation for a unification bout against Justin Gaethje adds even more excitement, as both fighters are known for their finishing ability and aggressive approach inside the octagon. The White House event is already being described as historic, with this matchup standing out as one of the biggest fights on the card. As both fighters continue to post more training footage, the anticipation keeps building. Every clip adds more fuel to the hype, showing two champions in peak condition, fully committed to their upcoming battles at the highest level of MMA competition. Move on to another news. Massive breaking news has just shaken the light heavyweight division, as reports from Ariel Helwani, MMA Fighting, and MMA Junkie confirm major changes at the top of the division following Carlos Ulberg's title situation. According to reliable sources, Carlos Ulberg is dealing with a serious knee injury suffered during his title-winning knockout over Jiri Prochaska. The recovery timeline is expected to take several months, and this has forced discussions within the UFC about potentially stripping him of the belt. This situation continues a familiar and frustrating pattern in the 205-pound division, where previous champions, such as Jiri and Jamal Hill, were also stripped due to long-term injuries, only to return later and regain title opportunities. Now, with the belt likely becoming vacant once again, attention immediately shifts toward a potential high-stakes matchup for the vacant title. Early talks suggest a possible showdown between Khamzat and Paulo Costa for the championship. The situation intensified after Paulo Costa delivered a vicious head kick knockout over Azamat Murzakanov, followed by a very public call-out of Khamzat. This has fueled discussions that the matchup practically writes itself, with both fighters now seen as frontrunners for the vacant belt. During Ariel Helwani's breakdown of the situation, he confirmed that Ulberg is expected to undergo surgery and will be sidelined for an extended period. He explained that the champion is effectively relinquishing or vacating the title due to the severity of the injury. Helwani also noted that while the situation is unfortunate, some journalists believe this could actually benefit Ulberg in the long run. Instead of fans focusing on controversy or debates about the legitimacy of his win, the injury could generate sympathy and support for the champion when he returns. Discussion then shifted to whether stripping him is the correct decision, especially considering how the UFC handled similar cases in the past. In those situations, the promotion moved forward quickly, allowing divisions to stay active while injured champions recovered. Some analysts argue that if a vacant title fight is announced between Khamzat and Costa, the controversy around Ulberg's status may not matter much to fans, as attention would instantly shift to the explosive matchup. Others believe the UFC will once again emphasize that the injured champion will be given a direct opportunity upon return, continuing a pattern where returning champions are placed back into title contention immediately. As things stand, the division is in chaos, with all eyes now focused on whether the UFC will officially confirm a vacant title fight between Khamzat and Paulo Costa in the near future. Move on to another news. Several new UFC fights have officially been announced, adding major excitement across multiple upcoming cards, including fight nights and pay-per-views. First up, Griffin is set to face Victor Valenzuela at the UFC April 25th Fight Night card in Las Vegas. Griffin enters this matchup looking to snap a two-fight losing streak. He is coming off a split decision loss to Chris Curtis, followed by a submission defeat against Michael Chimaev, and now he is desperate to get back into the win column. On the other side, Valenzuela is making his UFC debut. Hardcore fans may already recognize him, as he recently picked up a strong win over Yusaku Kinoita at a regional card last month. Before that, Valenzuela also attempted to earn a UFC contract on Dana White's Contender Series back in October, but suffered a loss to Michael Oliveira. Despite that setback, the UFC clearly saw enough potential to bring him into the roster. Next, lightweight veterans Jim Miller and Jared Gordon are officially set to clash at UFC 328 on May 9th, as reported by MMA Junkie. Miller has not fought since April 2025, when he lost a unanimous decision to Chase Hooper, while Gordon is also coming off a defeat, having been stopped by Rafa Garcia in September. Both fighters now look to bounce back in a highly competitive lightweight matchup. Moving forward, Angela Hill is scheduled to face Zhang Jingnan at the UFC May 30th card in Macau, according to reports from Marcel Dorf. Hill is aiming to return to winning ways after back-to-back losses against Fatima Klein and Yasmin Lucindo, with both defeats coming by unanimous decision. Meanwhile, Zhang Jingnan enters the UFC from one championship, bringing serious momentum with her 6-fight win streak. Her last defeat dates all the way back to 2019 against Angela Lee, making this a highly anticipated return to the global stage against a proven UFC veteran. Next, attention shifts to Khamzat's camp, where preparations are underway for his upcoming title defense. He continues intense training as he sharpens his game ahead of another high-level UFC challenge, with his team pushing a heavy focus on pressure, conditioning, and finishing ability as fight night approaches. Move on to another news. Demetrius Johnson was left stunned after watching Carlos Ulberg deliver a brutal knockout over Jiri Prochazka, and he later shared his live reaction on his YouTube channel. Johnson reacted in real time as the fight unfolded, clearly shocked by the explosive finish. He described the sequence as chaotic, pointing out how quickly the momentum shifted. As the action escalated, he could be heard reacting in disbelief, saying things like, "Oh, his knees?" and noticing the repeated strikes landing clean. He continued watching as the finishing sequence developed, reacting with pure shock as the knockout moments stacked up one after another. He emphasized how fast everything happened, with strikes coming in rapid succession and Jiri unable to recover once the damage started to land. After the fight ended, Demetrius Johnson offered a brief technical breakdown of what he believed went wrong for Jiri Prochazka. He pointed directly to Jiri's habit of keeping his hands low as a major factor that cost him the fight. Johnson explained that fighters who consistently fight with their hands down are always at risk, especially against powerful and accurate strikers. He referenced other fighters with similar habits, explaining that while some can get away with it for a time, eventually they get caught by a clean shot that changes everything. He noted that when a fighter leaves their chin exposed and relies on movement or reflexes alone, it only takes one perfectly timed strike to end the fight. In this case, he believed that is exactly what happened, as Ulberg was able to capitalize on the opening and land the decisive blow. Johnson also added that he does not expect Jiri to fully change this habit, even after suffering a knockout loss. He suggested that fighters with deeply ingrained styles often continue fighting the same way, even after setbacks. He expressed sympathy for Jiri, saying he felt genuinely gutted watching the knockout unfold. He acknowledged that Jiri had shown moments of sportsmanship and control during the fight, but ultimately paid the price for a defensive flaw. Other commentators also shared similar reactions, with many describing the outcome as heartbreaking. The knockout win marked a major turning point, as Carlos Ulberg emerged as a new champion, while discussion around Jiri's fighting style and defensive habits continues to grow in the MMA world.